Waikato relegated as Bay of Plenty power into championship semi-finals. Waikato relegated as Bay of Plenty power into championship semi-finals. Waikato back Sevu Reece on the burst. Sevu Reece dots down for Waikato. A Waikato supporter rings the cowbell for the Malu's at Tauranga Domain. Waikato fans at Tauranga Domain for the Mitre 10 Cup match between the Malu's and the Steamers. Waikato back Zach Gilford in the pre-match warm-ups. Waikato have been relegated to the Mitre 10 Cup Championship after Bay of Plenty held on to win the Battle of the Kaimais 36-32 in Tauranga on Saturday. Canterbury had opened the door for Waikato to survive by beating Auckland 32-27 at Eden Park on Friday night, but the Steamers slammed it shut to send the Malu's down to the second tier of the provincial rugby competition for the first time since 1986. Auckland have never played outside the top tier, but Waikato's calamitous 7-match losing streak, a growing province record, sees them finish bottom and fall to the championship for next season. Chase Tiasha opened the scoring Bay of Plenty in their win against Waikato. Bay of Plenty's win at Tauranga Domain secures a home semi-final in the championship for next weekend after both sides scored 5 tries each. Mike Delaney was hugely influential for Bay of Plenty, and his boot was ultimately the difference against Waikato. Mike Delaney's boot was the difference, though, as the experienced first 5/8 had the Steamers clicking while their threatening backline cut Waikato to pieces. The hosts only led 19-12 at halftime after Sevu Reece scored a vital try, after making the initial break, just after the hooter sounded to keep the Malu's very much alive. Waikato's players gathered in a huddle, knowing their premiership status was at stake, as the second half kicked off and Pita'aki's try brought them level in the 44th minute. Tyler Campbell of Waikato competes with Terence Heptima and Richard Judd of Bay of Plenty for a high ball at Tauranga Domain. When Lilikai Fuketi returned from the sin bin, after seeing yellow just before Reece's try, Waikato had run in 2 converted tries and Keys' penalty then put the visitors ahead for the first time, at 22-19. Waikato at last had some belief, but Key, who was in the thick of everything, was sin-binned after an hour for a deliberate knockdown after the Steamers applied intense pressure on Waikato's line. Bay of Plenty finally cracked Waikato's gallant resistance when Fuketi powered over for what was his second try, and the Malu's, with a man down, had 17 minutes to turn things around to avoid the drop. Sevu Reece celebrates a Waikato try against Bay of Plenty. But the Steamers got a roll on, as Delaney added a penalty and Luke Campbell picked up and dotted down to give Bay of Plenty a 36-22 lead before Lachlan Quinlan Lani Uila grabbed very late consolation tries for Waikato. Queues of fans in opposing colours, which extended down the streets well into the first half, poured into a packed Tauranga Domain on a beautiful sunny afternoon where more than 5,000 were present. The heat was on both sides to deliver under pressure, and after Bay of Plenty came flying out of the blocks, Chase Tiasha strolled over in the 11th minute to open the scoring. Waikato supporters travelled in numbers over to Tauranga. Waikato's early struggles were compounded when Zach Gilford left the field with injury, but they were back in it minutes later when Atumali crashed over to make it 5-5 from their first attack. Bay of Plenty were guilty of forcing the issue, but the hosts gained control and ran in 2 tries through Fuketi and Terence Heptima to lead 19-5 when the halftime hooter sounded. But after Reese's surging run, Flaherty saw yellow for a cynical knockdown as the steamer scrambled and Reese crucially scored for Waikato, who trailed by just 7 at the break. He then scored 10 points himself to put the Maui 3 in front, but his yellow card after Bay of Plenty's long stint in Waikato's 22 typified their desperation in defense. Flaherty and Campbell then went over to secure Bay of Plenty's bonus point, and the Steamers were out of sight before Waikato's late fightback. A Maui's mistake ended the game and confirmed Waikato's relegation after 30 years in the top tier. Bay of Plenty 36, Chase Diasha, Loakai Flaherty 2, Terrence Hectama, Luke Campbell tries, Mike Delaney 4 Con, Penn, Waikato 32, Atumali, Seville Reese, Pita Ki, Laglan Kwan, Lonnie Uila tries, Ki, Reese Khan, Ki Penn.